What's up, man? This your boy, Oski Sunghai, and you walk over my mans right here.
Hey, what's up?
Raffo, man. How you been?
I'm feeling good, man.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been mad long.
Correct. Man, it's been like ages, like
Months.
months.
But it's crazy how many videos we did.
Yeah.
Like, within like a short time.
Yeah, people's been asking about you.
I know.
People has been asking about you, so let's get ready, get deep. And in this topic of BLACKBOOKT.V, we're gonna talk about judgment and how people, like to judge you for just who you are. You know what I'm saying? Before we get too deep in that topic, we're just gonna start it off with this right here.
Yeah.
Do you believe that people judge other people out of fear?
Yeah. I mean,
Like, do you think that fear stems from that person? They want to be like that person, but deep down they know they can't do that, so they gotta kind of come at them.
and the thing with jealousy, because this all like ties into jealousy.
Right.
So the thing with jealousy, it has more to do with the person, how they see themselves versus like what they see in that person.
Right.
And there's a level of hate but also admiration. You get what I'm saying? Like, you got racist white kids in college universities who's dressed as like blackface, but they'll be the first to talk about black and black crime and whatnot, but they listen to trap music, drinking ginger ale at like these college parties.
Right.
So can you please restate the question?
So basically, do you think people judge other people out of fear?
Yes. And the reason why people judge people out of fear is because they fear what they don't understand. Therefore, it creates judgment or assumption that they're not comfortable within themselves to make.
Right.
For example, if this like two black kids, for example.
Right.
One is like hood, the other is like nerd or whatnot.
Right.
The hood kid, the kid who grew up in a hood household, he's gonna judge the nerd like, oh, he ain't got no swag or whatnot, blah 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 blah, because he doesn't understand that nerd.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand the nerd. He doesn't understand why he's like this and he's the way he is. And he also doesn't understand himself.
Right.
So, with that being said, you have people who create like judgment to fill a void of emptiness within themselves.
I totally agree with that. So, do you feel like the void that they're trying to fill, like as far as judgments, like trying to make another person feel bad in order for themselves to enhance their
Self-esteem.
Self-esteem. There you go. I was looking for that word. So, being that that's the case, what drives them to want to be who they are? Why be that? Like, why
judge?
why judge if they don't really care about the person? If they claim that this person is this or he's that, what's the whole point of judging them in the first place?
It's deep envy. The thing about envy, there's a level of admiration you have for people. It's an emotional conflict within my envy. For example, you could really because you gotta think about, your haters know you're dope the most. They know how dope you are more than your fans. Your haters know how dope, because if they didn't, they wouldn't care about you.
Right.
That's the best way to put it. Your critics are people who see how dope you are. That's point blank. For example, if you think, for example, perfect example, people who hate the summer, right?
Right.
It's funny how they know more about the summer, oftentimes more than people who actually like it.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? People who criticize you the most actually try to look deeper into you than people who like you.
Right.
And it's sad to say how the world is, but let's be honest, like even movies have shown it, like the villain understands the MO of the hero more than, you know,
The police officer.
more than the police officers and
Yeah.
more than the people that are saved from the hero.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Joker knows Batman's psychology
Right.
more than Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what to do when it comes to him. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? And the reason, and this all ties into like judging, because they judge you because they're secretly oftentimes just fans of you. They're fans of you, but they can't stand that they're fans of you. Therefore, it creates like an emotional conflict.
So if they're fans of you, why do they want to? I mean, besides the fact that they're jealous of you, like what would cause them to want to be jealous of you? Like why can't
Because
they?
you're not
Why,
like them.
why can't they just be like, you know what? I want to be like Rafaya. Let me just put all this aside. And let me just tell Rafaya, you know, I want to be like you.
Because it's easier to hate than it is to show love.
Right.
Like it's really that it's really that simple. Like I don't know how simpler I could get, but it's easier to hate than easier it is to show love. For example, it's easier to just be like, it's easier to judge than it is to, it's easier to judge others than it is to like judge yourself. Because like, let's be real, like you get up in the morning, you see things from your perspective.
Right.
And the challenge with life is sometimes you have to think outside of yourself.
Right.
So you wake up every day, you know, you see with your own eyes, whatever, like across the street there's a dog, whatever. You don't see from the dog's perspective of how you're approaching the street. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's innate to humans to judge. So
You think? Do you believe? Sorry, real quick. Do you think it has something to do with the ego?
yeah, I think everything like corresponds to like ego, because ego in itself isn't bad.
Right.
It's not. Like ego is not a bad
But
thing.
people portray it as like this bad thing, like, oh, you got a big ego, da da da.
I see where they're coming from, but ego's not. I wouldn't measure ego by it being big or small.
Yeah.
It's just about imbalance and balance.
Right.
It's not really about big or small. Because, for example, a happy person, right, can be egotistical. You get what I'm saying? A happy person. But so can someone who's sad.
Yeah.
They could be egotistical to fill that void of sadness.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So you have people who will judge instead of actually work on themselves. And they hate on you because they felt like you worked on yourself, and that's not a risk they're willing to take. For example,
Why though?
huh?
Why? Why is it such a hard thing for them to do that instead of you know, just being jealous and just judging you? Why can't they just take that risk, like, and do it?
Well, because for one, it's not common, and the way the society's set up, you're conformed to being judgmental. You're conformed to being judgmental, and people don't understand, like, if you disagree with something or you see something that's truthful, it doesn't make you judge. Well, you know what? I'm gonna say this: we all judge. Point blank. Period. We all judge. For example, if you feel like your breath stink in the morning, you're clearly judging yourself, and you make judgments to other people. Judgment is a form of perception.
Right.
You know, what you judge is often what you perceive. If you see that, like, there's snow outside, right? You're judging the fact that there's snow.
Right.
Like, you're judging the environment. You see snow. You can't maneuver through life without judging. For example, like intuition. That's a form of judging.
Right.
It's just on like a higher like level. like on a higher like spiritual level.
Right.
But it's all judging. You get what I'm saying? Good and bad. How do you know the difference? Because you're judging. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Regardless if your view of good and bad is like twisted or whatnot, you're judging.
Right.
And like my biggest problem, my biggest pet peeve with folks is the people who be like, don't judge. What do you mean don't judge? You're judging me by not judging. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
You're judging me by telling me not to judge.
Yeah.
Or those people be like, let people live. Listen, are you... So by you telling me to let people live, are you letting me live?
No.
Exactly. And that's the thing, like... Honestly, man, like, it gets me frustrated, like, when people be like, don't judge, like, don't be judgmental. But they be the first person, when they see a bum on the street, they cross the street and avoid him.
Right.
That's judging.
Oh, and they be like, he's corny looking.
Yeah, that's judging.
Yeah.
You can't say don't be judgmental. We all judge.
Yeah.
The goal in life is to not be a hypocrite. Like, real talk. Don't be a hypocrite.
Right.
Because being a hypocrite means you're making judgment. It means you're making a judgment without valuing what you're judging about.
Right.
For example, if I be like, you know what, I think women are less than men, or something of like that degree.
Right.
But then I have a wife. And she runs my household. That's it being a hypocrite.
Right.
Because how can you say women are less than men, but then she runs the household you're in?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, don't be a hypocrite. Like, real talk. Like, don't be a hypocrite. Because being a hypocrite, it takes value from what you're judging.
Right.
That's the best way I could personally like put it. Cause you can't be those people who are like, for example, let's say like you're against gay marriage or whatnot. You're judging people because you don't believe in love. Well, you're judging me because of how I perceive it.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But then they're like, no, I'm not judging. No, you are. You are. It's innate to judge. Animals judge. Animals know. You know how you know animals judge? On the most basic level? Because lions know, for the majority of the time, which animals to hunt. If you ever, like, dig, like, you know, you could just read this in, like, books or whatnot.
Right.
They hunt the weak animals, the young, the ones that are sick, the ones that... That's why lions have tactics to isolate, have to judge in order to live. Now, my whole thing is, you can judge all you want. The thing is, don't be a hypocrite. And that's my problem with people.
Right.
Because they do all this judging, but then they be like, I don't judge. But then with that quote, you're judging me, which means you're being a hypocrite.
Right.
So, like, cut all that, like, noise.
Right.
You have, like, any,
Of course I do. I just want to see you turn up real quick. This is rough for me, BLACKBOOKT.V. He's turning up for us, man. We haven't seen him in a while. He's giving us that independent, real knowledge, you know what I'm saying? That self-awareness. So, we're going to keep it going for another, you know what I'm saying, 5 minutes, I'll say. 5 more minutes. Yep, 5 more minutes, at least. 6. Depends. We don't give a fuck. Let's just do it. So, going in, we're going to go a little bit deeper. Because you're definitely correct. I definitely agree. People will say not to judge while judging at the same time, which is very hypocritical. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the people who, when you do judge, they'll tell you you're a hater? Let's say like this new, 50 Cent album came out. You know what I'm saying? And he sounds like Uzi or something. But he gets away with it. Let's just say hypothetically speaking. All the 50 fans, let's just say, all of a sudden just like 50. And as soon as you say something like, you could be an honest opinion. You could be like, I like the old 50 better. This one sounds, kind of weak to me.
Yeah.
Honest opinion. And, most of the time you have an honest opinion, it's an independent opinion, which separates from the, general consensus.
Oh.
So it's like,
So basically, like an unpopular.
Yeah, unpopular opinion. You know,
I have a
so
lot of
right, so when you do that, you know, all of a sudden you're like, you a hater, dog. See, niggas like you, dog. Da, da, da. So it's like, how do you feel about people like that? Like, you know, just because you're not a 50 type of dude, or just because you're not this like, they assume that you haven't lived this type of lifestyle, that you
Because
know you
when
wouldn't
I
understand the
when I
artist.
told
So,
people like I wasn't a fan of like G Herbo,
right,
like people was like you don't understand the music because you don't live that life. First off, I got relatives that live that life
facts.
that I don't bring up. That's one. And two, it's not hard to live. It's not hard for me to not get into that life because one, I know people who's down with that. I went to school with people who's down with the type of life he lives, and like and I have a level of clout. So it's pretty easy for me to like just go to the other side and like do that. So when I say, in my opinion, I said I think G Herb was whack now. I like the old Little Herb, but I think G Herb was whack. And people said like I was being a hater. No, I was speaking objectively. Like whether they thought like whatever, it doesn't really matter. But for them to say that they don't, that I'm being a hater, no, I'm not. I understand where they come from because a lot of people will say stuff and not back up the reasons behind it.
Right.
But I'm not that type of person. I back up the reasons behind why I don't like such and such. For example, G Herbo. When he was first coming out, you know, when drill music
Yep.
and like the Chicago thing was like blowing up, you know, I was a teenager at that time. So my mindset was different. I was like G Herbo's dope. But I mean not G Herbo, Little Herb, you know,
Oh,
he changed his name
yeah,
to
the
G Herbo.
Chicago,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I thought he was dope. Turns out as I got older, his stuff just sounds very repetitive. There's nothing new and fresh like really in his catalog. If you really pick, we're not talking about being biased or nothing. It's not that he sucks now per se. It's just he hasn't evolved, which therefore is a validated reason why I think he sucks.
Right.
And people who be like you're hating, they don't want to hear your answer because it goes against what they believe about like whatever artist.
Right.
So a lot of times people think you're hating on. The truth sounds like hate to people who are comfortable with lies.
Yeah, that's real.
That's the truth. Like,
That's real. Like, I was saying, like, me and you had this discussion many times. By the way, I shouted you out on my Reptilians and Blue Bloods episode. And I was saying we had many conversations, and one of them was saying how, like, you know, a lot of people love Fab.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But Fab, I like Fab actually. I'm just now kind of getting hip to him because I was like into other artists, like, you know, other more experimental artists, you know, like
Yeah.
B.O.B. and all them. You know, I was into, you know, the shit I'm talking about now, extraterrestrials, ancient Egypt and shit like that, and, you know, ancient shit, history, period.
Yeah.
It's just connecting the dots. So, you know, you said the same thing. You was like Fab is just repetitive and this is and that. Do you feel like that is good in our culture? Like, do you feel like that is holding us back? And this is gonna go back to the judgment. So I just wanted you to.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's kind of like a bit by bit question.
Yeah.
But do you feel like that's what's holding us back? Is us being repetitive? An example would be the gangsta era. That shit lasted so. They're still trying to squeeze as much money. You know, the stripper anthem. You know, throw it
Yeah.
up. That shit did not work. That crashed. Everything that they're putting out as far as stripper music is just trash. Like, they're getting paid as much as an independent artist when they go on tour. You know what I'm saying? You don't really hear much of people or these artists going on tour and stuff. So do you feel like that's slowing us down as far as you know, our us being controlled by the Jews, like so-called Jews in the industry, and you know, we're being we're having like
As
a
far as
repetitive
like
nature with this.
being like repetitive, yes, being repetitive is slowing damn near everybody down. Like no one. That's the best way I could put it. Conformity is a form of repetition because you're conforming what everyone else is doing. Don't get me wrong, we all on some level conform. Like, you're not gonna go outside without taking a shower. Like, that's just the truth. But as far as like socially, as far as like social grouping, yeah, conformity is one of the things that's holding us back. Because we're not conforming to anything that's progressive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Conformity in itself isn't bad. It's just what you're conforming to.
Right.
For example, like a lot of black people like to refer to themselves as like kings and queens, and I get that. But a lot of black people who use that term do not fit the term. Like, let's be real. Like, you can't be doing jigaboo things, but then wanting a title
Right.
of something greater.
Right.
That's like if you're a prisoner, right? And you clearly did wrong. You clearly did wrong, and then you want the if you're like a criminal and you did something like completely wrong, like murder or whatever, and then you want the family of the person you killed to pay for you coming out. It's contradictory.
Right.
You're doing something bad, but you want like something good out of it.
Right.
Like, a lot of people have to change their behavior, and that's why, if you notice, like, I'm not understand calling like any black girl queen or whatnot, because for one, let's be real, like, we're in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in America. Like, let's be real. Like, we could call ourselves kings and queens all we like, but let's really be real. Like, yes, I get why people do it. Yes, I get that there was a time we was kings and queens, but let's truly be honest with ourselves. Like, there was a millions of people that was kings and queens, or else I would create this balance. I mean, that would create an imbalance.
Right.
And like you were saying about Fabulous, I like Fab's music, but even after a few listens, like, I get tired of it because it's the same thing.
Right.
For example, he starts off, the beat goes in for like 10 seconds, chorus, then he spits like a couple similes, like, what's up? This love on my chest, Cartier bracelets, something like that. Cardi Blaze, Cardi break, Cardi,
yeah.
Damn, oh, I had a tongue twist. He's like, this hearts on my chest, Cardi bracelets. I was like, and y'all consider him like one of the greatest wordsmiths ever. Like, don't get me wrong, his stuff, dude. This is Fab's quality level. Like, it's consistent. It's not like he's dropped something whack or he's dropped something great. It's consistent. Now the thing is, he hasn't done nothing left field. He hasn't. And I've actually listened to. Listen, I've bought Fab albums.
Yeah.
I have bought Fab albums. Like, I really have bought Fabulous's music. So this is coming from a person who actually consumed his stuff. I'm not one of the people who, because I notice, like, a lot of people have biases towards him because he's like this fly, like, hood rich dude, or that's the image he puts out there. And don't get me wrong, like, I like the dude's music, but let's be real, his music is repetitive. It's the same thing. It's the same thing over and over. Like, he's a mixtape artist.
Yeah, a good one too.
Yeah, like, he chooses the right beats. I'll say that. He chooses the right production for his stuff. So it sounds ill, but when you break down what he's saying, like, it's simple.
Yeah.
Like, that's my problem with, like, a guy like Jadakiss. I think Jadakiss is lyrically gifted, but he's repetitive with how he delivers it.
Yeah.
It's nothing different. You get what I'm saying?
Same shit.
Yeah, it's the same thing over and over. You know, that could work with some fans, that can't work with me.
Yeah. I gotta see something.
And I'm not a hater either.
Cause Beanie Siegel called Charlamagne a hater for saying that you know, he want to see some change in him and all that. And then Beanie Siegel was like, you know, I play with the nerds with the video game. I be with the on the block with the gangsters. So you know, I know how to. I be on both sides. And he was like, nah, I'm talking about you changing from a personal note, like, you know, as an artist, even as an artist, so people can really, you know, get to know the real you. And then when Beanie was saying that, he was like, man, I don't want to hear this shit, man.
Yeah, people don't like change because they're comfortable.
Yeah.
People will complain about something and go right back to the problem.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen it happen.
Me too. Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Trey Songz had a perfect music video for it. Can't Help But Wait. like he was trying to like haul at this girl, right? She was a pretty girl, but she was with this guy who was abusive. And you know, he's singing "Can't Help But Wait," whatever, great song. And then she was about to kiss him. Then her mans grabbed her, beat her again, and then like she's basically still with the guy who beat on her. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to knock like domestic violence victims, but I'm just saying that on a deeper level, like this woman was, even though like the way the video was set up, like she was complaining about her man and whatnot, like yo, he beats me, whatever, blah 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 blah. She still stayed with the guy. She's still like, and I'm not talking on a domestic violence level at all, but she still stayed
So
with
do you
the
feel
guy.
like, one last question, do you feel like people who judge too often have the saddest lives than people who, you know, don't?
I wouldn't use the term like people who judge like often, cause like
I say too often. I say about that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I say I would change the question like do you think people who just judge but don't check on, who judge others, who judge outside but don't judge inside?
I could say that too.
Yeah, like people who like judge more on the outside than on the inside, yeah, they're the saddest. But it's oftentimes their fault. And I'm sorry, like I don't feel sorry for you at this point in my life. I really don't. Like, if you're willing to like just come at other people and not work on yourself, like internally, and like develop yourself.
That's how I feel. Yep.
But you're on this thing like, yo, this person this person that.
I don't want to hear nothing from you, right?
Yeah, like I don't want to hear nothing. Like, you don't have my empathy.
Yep, that's
I'm
how
sorry.
I feel.
Like,
cause you keep going back. You like that, apparently.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong. 1, 2, maybe 3 times.
Yeah.
I'll feel bad. But after, like when it hits 4, nah, I don't feel bad for you no more.
Yeah.
I don't. It's just, that's just how it is. Like, if you wanna keep, you know, hurting yourself by just judging other people instead of like judging yourself on what you need to do and whatnot, then there's something wrong with you, and I don't feel bad for you.
Right.
Cause listen, life's too short. I can't feel bad for you for your self-destructive behavior.
Right.
If you wanna jump off a building, and I know that's an extreme example, but I don't care. If you wanna jump off a building and be like, yo, all you people here is blah 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 blah, and then you slip and fall on some ice, I can't feel bad for you at all. It's your fault.
Yeah.
There's no other way to go about it. It's your fault. It's your fault if you're judging other people and then you're not trying to look in yourself, but then doing those mental blocks, it creates an unnatural tension within yourself.
Right.
It's like you basically a ticking time bomb, because you're just out there just. It's like eating food, but none of your food is going in your body.
You're just adding.
Yeah, adding, and then you're just puking it out.
Yeah.
At a point, it's just gonna eat you alive. Yeah. And I'm telling you, like, I don't feel empathy for those people, because while you're out here judging other people and you yourself are not changing, I don't feel sorry for you.
Right.
I don't.
And that's why you're above those types.
Yeah.
And they're the types to try any means to stop you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll say they hate you. They'll say they don't want you around, this and that. But deep down, it's just because they don't want you to destroy that reality they got. Yeah. You know, that they protected for themselves.
And a lot of people are like narcissists.
Yep.
Like people who's really out for themselves. Like, dude. And the thing with narcissism is they, what's the best way? They chew you and they spit you out.
Yeah.
That's the best way I could put it. Like, narcissists are like people who chew you.
Like parasites.
Yeah, they're like parasites. Like,
if you got something, they come.
Yeah.
Yup. But once you don't got nothing, you're this, you're that. You know, you ain't this, you ain't that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
There's really
like a lot of abusive people are like narcissists. Like, there's such a massive void that needs to be filled that they have to project something negative out.
Yeah.
Through a mask of, oh, I'm doing this for you.
Yeah.
Like, I've had people who literally have, like, talked behind my back, right?
Yep.
And then they're begging me, literally, they're begging me to, like, hang out right now.
Bro, I know people right now who be like, yo, I don't even want you around me. I don't even want you, and I'm not even like, if something don't make sense, you know what I'm saying, then that's the only time I'll speak up. You know me, I ain't the type to really be going off for nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it has to be a good reason. And people be saying, you know, some, I won't say people, but a person has said that to me, like, yo, I don't want you around me, this, and that, da 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 da. But then they'll still hit me up and be like, let me get this. Can you buy me that?
Yeah.
Can you do? I'm like, so are you using me, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because there was a time when I was younger, we used to talk. You know what I'm saying? But now that we older, it's like, now that I have a voice now, you know what I'm saying? Now that I'm able to speak up for myself, you know what I'm saying? I'm no longer being bullied by this particular person, no one in this household. But, you know, now I'm not being bullied by this particular person. It's like, oh, you know, I don't even want to talk no more. I don't even care about anything you got to say. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, I can't manipulate you now into making it seem like, you know, that everything's okay. So now I'm just going to leave it all alone and not, you know what I'm saying? I know people like that. I came across a few people like that. So
Yeah.
I definitely know what you mean. We're a little bit out of time. So if you want to close out, you got 2 minutes and, you know, say what you got to say. And, you
2
know,
minutes.
we're about to do a second video anyway. That's how BLACKBOOKT.V gets down.
Alright,
So, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And that connects, like, with what you were saying about using you. Like, they're leeches, bro. Like, they're leeches. Like, a leech for, like, 10 seconds might not harm you. But after a while, it starts draining you.
Yep.
And narcissists, like, they don't just, they're very judgmental, actually. They're very judgmental. And I'm glad I brought up, like, narcissists, because they're the perfect example, like, people who, like, judge.
Yeah.